Sleight. What's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I don't know how I just did that with the color change, but that was dope. I am back here again for another review for you guys. I am looking like the main character is played by the role of Jacob Latimore for the role of Bo, who has this inherent gift. Not just being an excellent magician, but he's also got like a dark past that is catching up to him in addition to things that are happening in his reality. He's got a loving, I want to call her his sister, but she's so much more than that in T, played by Storm Reed. But he's just happened to start a new relationship with a character named Holly. The thing about this is I have only seen one trailer of this movie. I did not know what the movie was really about, other than the fact of, you know, there might be a science fiction edge to it, just because when I saw in the trailers, like him kind of like maneuvering things with his hands. And I mean, of course, like Sleight in and of itself is talking about the sleight of hand, which most magicians have. They've got like different tales and different things that they're willing to do. And one of the things that Bo loves is to be a magician, but more than that, to look to the influence of people like Houdini, who put their lives on the line to actually do the trick. And I think that what's engaging about this film is the fact of how real his life really is at this point, without giving context of what really happened. So they show, you know, him as a magician. They show, you know, how he loves his sister, and they also show his dedication to his craft. But what they don't show is the side of him that works with this character named Angelo. Angelo is very much so, you know, the frontier for all the drugs that are in the area that he's actually living in. And he's kind of running drugs for Angelo. And it's like, from the trailer, I would have never guessed that. Like, I was like, man, Bo is in a bad situation. Like, he needs to get out of this life. But for him, like, at a certain point, he had to stop what he was doing, take care of his, you know, now his daughter, essentially, even though that's his sister, and kind of protect her. And the way that he felt, the only way he's able to do that, you know, was to sell drugs, which, I mean, that can come off as a cliche, because a lot of people are like, okay, why has this got to be an African-American man, kind of have to be selling drugs, even though he's very smart, highly sophisticated, like, why is he doing this? And he's got an awesome relationship with a girl that he just kind of met on the street, that he performed for her, and she took a liking to him. Me and Alicia were looking at it. Alicia was kind of like, she's a little too fast, and I kind of was thinking that, you know, their relationship kind of spurred off really fast, but what you don't know is that Holly also has her own backstory. She's got her own edge to her as well. I think some of the acting beats kind of, you know, they kind of like a little bit more dramatified than I would like. I think they could have been taking more of a serious turn. I'm not sure if that's more of the actor side or just maybe the context of how they did the scripting. But at a certain turning point where Angelo asks Bo to do something that, you know, really is like, man, what are we really kind of doing here? What does my life look like? That is when the movie kind of picks up legs to me. I think around the second act, you know, I was like, all right, this is actually really good. And then at the same time, simultaneously, you start looking at something on Bo's arm. You start looking at certain things that he does. And it's like, this is abnormal. This is not just the sleight of hand. This is more than that. And when you actually get into the science fiction part of it and the technological part of it and the implications behind it, this turns from being like, you know, a magician kind of movie to like something closer to like a superhero edge, kind of like the creation of a superhero in a lot of different ways. That's the reason why I thought this was fitting, because what Bo, you know, ends up being and where his story goes, to me, it is perfect setup for another movie. But from a critique standpoint, that might be kind of a downfall in a lot of different ways, because people that want to try to take it seriously, they're like, all right, give us enough. They're like, everything is there. It wasn't until really the third act that you actually get to see what is really going on with, you know, Bo's real ability. And I think that if you go into the movie looking at the trailers and kind of being like, I want to see like magic, I want to see like hardcore this, hardcore that, you will get that, but you will only get that in certain sets. It's more about the setup and delivery and the payoff of who the character Bo really is, what he represents, what kind of man he's going to end up being. And, you know, is his life really in jeopardy, or is it more than that kind of thing? And I actually thought it was a really good story. Actually, me and Alicia really enjoyed the movie. I stayed until the very end. There is nothing after the credits. I think that the cinematography is actually really well placed, but I feel like they did this off of a very low budget. I feel like this was actually potentially a Sundance film. Like, just the way that it was kind of crafted, it was like, man, somebody just had a real dedication and love for the superhero element, the magician element, and then the realistic standpoint of what does it look like after abuse, or what does it look like after family drama, or what does it look like after tragedy hits somebody, and what did they do to kind of overcome it. I think that from a written standpoint, I think they did a really good job with the scripting. I think it's just there are certain moments where it's kind of like it could have gone a little bit deeper. So for me, I'd give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I didn't have any real issues with it necessarily, other than looking at it from audience standpoint. I think that if your expectation is that you're going to get this and this action beat, it's not always going to be that. When it comes, the visual effects are going to be awesome. When you see what is actually there, the practical effects are really good. Even like the dialogue is really deep at certain points because you don't really understand the edge that Bo is really at. And at the same time, this element of this other person, Angelo, what he's going to put him through. But I actually thought it was a really good story. I actually really enjoyed it. Me and Alicia liked it, and I give it 8.5 out of 10. Let me know if you enjoyed the film. Leave in the comment section below if you thought it could be better. Are you excited to see more? And just like this color change right here, and it goes back, the sleight of hand is very important. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Y'all have a blessed night, blessed evening, blessed day. Peace, everybody.